Good evening, and welcome back to Red Hook here at the Funktion House. For those of you who are joining us, you can also catch our full stream on thefunctionhouse.com for no interruptions. But in any case, we'd like to welcome you back to our Tuesday show, and tonight we are welcoming our very special guest DJ, DJ Toro.
Thank you, man.
Welcome to the Funktion House.
You reminded me of Biggie for a second. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Ready for the beginning of Sky's the Limit.
That's
How
it.
you doing tonight?
What's
I'd
good?
like to welcome to the stage DJ Toro.
DJ Toro. So what's up, man? You've been here before,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes. I love
First time
setup.
playing.
It's been hard to get this guy on the show. I've been
remember-
reaching out to him for 4 years.
Yep, I remember the first one. It was, but I just couldn't
It
make it
just
because of my
didn't.
show.
It didn't line up right yet.
Mhm.
Busy man, that's okay. But we finally got him.
Try to stay busy.
And so yeah, let's chop it up, man.
Yeah.
Born
let's-
and
let's
raised
kick
in
it off.
Brooklyn, right?
Yep. Coney Island, 33rd and Surf, Old Dwyer Gardens projects. Love it there. Love it there. Love everything about coming up there. It definitely influenced me in my music and everything that I love about music, from funk, old school, R&B, hip hop, freestyle,
So
house.
that's a pretty rough area of Brooklyn. What was it like growing up there?
It was fun. It was different. It was weird. I mean, I was definitely one of those kids that I always share this with people. Like, I did get bullied. I did get stood up a couple times.
Yeah,
But,
it was a tough area.
It's still pretty tough.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
still pretty tough.
Definitely was. It definitely is. And I just learned a lot from it.
Yeah.
So do you still, because I know what's unique about Coney Island is that they still have these old school DJs
Mm-hmm.
that throw these parties up on the boardwalk, and you still get the likes of like Louis Vega playing out on the boardwalk. Ray Vasquez is the big sort of champion of that. He's always hosting parties, DJing parties, throwing parties. Do you ever go back out for those, and were those influential for you growing up in Coney Island?
Oh, they were huge, and still are. I mean, when I was young and I fell in love with DJing was because my uncle was one of those guys that used to go up on the boardwalk and plug into the light post for
Yeah.
power and connect right there. And then there's an old age home on 33rd and Surf, and we used to get all those people come up and partying with us. This is before, we had that big nor'easter back in the day. I think like 98ish, where there actually was a under the boardwalk. People would party under the boardwalk.
Yep.
And still to this day, I have family there every weekend, right by the Thunderbolt. They're rocking out, playing live salsa merengue every weekend in the summertime.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's the area I'm familiar with. It rocks over there.
And it's actually so awesome to see, because people will go and just spend the day there
Yep.
and dance.
Yes.
Yep. And it's
BYOB.
yeah, well, yeah, pretty much. But it's so, for them to be rocking out the way that they do, I love it. Every week, every summertime, I go down and check them out, and just people all different ages and races, and just a whole big party. Everybody just having fun and enjoying the time
Yeah.
together.
So how'd you actually get into DJing?
All right, got to show my age a little bit, but it's all good. So last Monday was my 39th birthday. 39, bro.
You got me by 1 year.
Crazy,
I'll be 39 November.
I've passed that milestone already.
dude. It's
Start
like
thinking differently once you cross that 4-0.
definitely shook a little bit, but we'll get there. We'll get there. But starting to DJ, I always loved music since I was a kid, and I would say there's a difference between messing around versus DJing. And messing around with music since I was 10, and DJing wasn't until I was about 18, 19, and that was, shouts to my boy out in Staten Island, Michael Gregorio, Mike G.
Mike J, yeah, I know Mike.
Good dude, man. I used to bust tables at the Grand Plaza, and he was one of my favorite DJs that came in there, and I was like, yo, let me DJ, let me work for you, let me do this, let me be a part of this. And he didn't know me from a hole in the wall. One day he's like, all right, I got you. I started off, and I worked with him, and I was a dancer, a party motivator.
Yep.
That's how I started, and then he would teach me the ropes. And that helped a lot because You know, when you're doing a mobile party, the time I would practice is like during dinner, the beginning of the night, dessert. So I would learn to mix, not on hip hop or not on house, but on like old school Italian music.
Yeah.
Old school funk, old school stuff that you would hear during the dessert time, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's how I learned to really know how to beat match and to blend and to make everything sound seamless, so I didn't sound like sneakers in a dryer.
Yeah. And doing mobile parties actually seasoned you with music. Like, you have reach from doing mobile parties.
Mobile parties, I mean, I never look down on it. One, you can make a lot of money. Two, is that you really get a sense of what's really popular and you're really able to kind of test and rock out with, because these parties, you're a part of these people's lives forever.
That's right.
Someone's Sweet 16, they could be 60. I had the best Sweet 16 ever. That DJ was awesome.
They'll never forget you.
Yep, their wedding. And that made me even more nervous than when I would do a club, because here I'm doing someone's wedding. This is the day of their life.
Yep.
Can't fuck that up.
If I was terrible, they'd never let it go. So for them to be happy, for them to have the time of their lives, meant everything to me.
Yeah. And it probably helped to diversify your knowledge on music.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're venturing into so many different genres from years ago.
Types of music.
Different, like, you know, like disco has like sort of 10 different directions, right?
Yep.
So you're learning 10 different directions of disco. It's really an educational thing.
Absolutely.
To be a mobile DJ.
Absolutely. And a lot of that music is all live, so you have to know how to bend correctly, pitch bend, because the beats are never
They're not
completely
locked
on lock. You know, you have to know that this is going to kind of speed up here or go down there. So I'm definitely grateful for learning through mobile DJing.
Yeah.
So you started in the mobile scene around 18, 19. When did you hit the clubs? What were the promoters you were working for? Who actually put you on in Manhattan?
It was still Mike. I mean, but this is going back to still in Jersey. I mean, I started off at Hunka Bunka.
Sayreville.
I miss that place so much. But Mike was their resident hip-hop DJ. So I would go with him after a party we would do, work there, or even there were times where he couldn't do the party. He'd send me there before. I'd DJ and open up for him, and then he would rock out. And eventually, I mean, his company, Partners in Sound, is killing it right now.
Yep.
Eventually, he was like, yo, I just can't do this anymore. And he passed the baton to me. So I was like 19, 20 years old, DJing at Bunka. And Bunka, Saturday nights was like 25 for guys, 21 for girls. Wednesday nights were bananas. And the first promoters I worked with was Bond, Solid, and Joey Enough.
Yeah.
Solid Enough. And then just went
And
from
then it
there.
just spiraled from there.
Yeah, I mean, I met everybody there. I met different promoters and did the city parties. I worked with so many promoters, and I'm so grateful for all of them. A lot of Manhattan, a lot of Jersey, a lot of Staten Island, Atlantis. All those places I got to work at.
Atlantis and Staten Island. I remember that. It felt like you were like underwater.
Yeah, in aquarium.
Yep.
But that was one of my favorite places. And then, you know, Staten Island would do a lot of parties where they bring in a Jersey DJ. So I meet those promoters. I make friends with that DJ. And just constantly connecting pieces and helping people out where I can. They would help me out. And Bunka and owners of Bunka own DJs.
Yes.
So with DJs, that was a whole nother story. Dude, I was there when I was 19 years old, and that was crazier than what it is now.
So, I mean, when you mention DJ Toro, there's one thing that sticks out, and it's 92.3. Like, you know, that's what you're known for. You're known for the radio. How did you take it from the clubs to the radio?
It was a complete blessing, man. I mean, before the radio, I was working at FedEx full time. I was a courier, and the only reason why I became a courier was because my girlfriend at the time, her mom was pressuring us. She was like, if your boyfriend don't get a job, this is gonna be a problem. Da, da, da. I was like, all right, fine, I'll go get a fucking job. So I went online, FedEx was available, applied, killed it, became a FedEx courier. Which one thing I definitely recommend for any young DJs, definitely have a job.
especially
today.
Have a job, because DJing should be a side hustle.
That's
You
right.
should have your main money, and then if DJing becomes something that you know is going to be big, then you pursue it.
Yeah.
You know, let time do its own work. But I applied for everybody, man. I applied for KTU. I applied for Pulse when Pulse was on. Everything got turned down. And then when 92.3 signed on, I fell in love with the station instantly. They came and did a live broadcast from Bliss in Clifton, New Jersey. I made friends with the people that were there. One of the on-air hosts was there, Tic Tac. And he introduced me. Time passed. I met the music director. I got kicked out of the radio station like 3 times. And
Why did you get kicked out of the radio station?
because you weren't supposed to be there. I would just go because I just wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to see it. I wanted to know everything about it. I was so about it.
So radio's something you always wanted to do.
Oh,
Like, so as soon as you started DJing, your main goal was to get on radio.
Radio was like the top of the iceberg for me.
Yeah. I mean,
because
radio was big, you know, for a DJ.
even so, like loving music as a kid, I was listening to Scribble when he was with Ed, Lisa, and Jay on Hot
In
97.
the
Yeah.
mornings, I remember.
That was my favorite mix in the world. Like,
It was 7 a.m.
he would kill it recording that. I would love him. I would love Hot 97 had DJs on it that I was rocking with. Glenn Frischer
Yep.
recording his sets live. You know,
Saturday Night Dance Party.
kids don't know the struggle it was having a cassette deck and putting the tape over the top so you could record it over and over.
Yep.
But
I knew somebody who he had a hi-fi VCR,
mhm.
Chris Perez. He had a hi-fi VCR, and he would set up, because we were able to set up a timer.
Yep.
And he would tape all the radio shows on the timer because he wouldn't be home.
Mhm.
He'd be out Saturday night, started at like 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever,
Yep.
and it would run through 4
That's
o'clock
great.
in the morning.
My mom shipped me out to live with my dad in Connecticut. So I just wasn't about the music life in Connecticut. And I would come home every other weekend, and then I would set the tapes to record and then hear them while I'm out in Connecticut. And like, this is like 1996, 97. And hearing like remixes like of Fantasy, like the Dream Lover, all those Mariah Carey edits, like those old club edits that I would just fall in love with. And I just love radio from the jump. I always wanted to be a part of it. I would do so many clubs, and the personalities would come out, and they'd be like, "Oh, we got to get you on. We got to have this happen," and it just never panned out. But when I was in the process of getting kicked out of the radio station in 92.3, I still made sure that I was known, like I was there. So they had their first concert series. It was 2 concerts, one in Jersey, one on Long Island, and I got an email from the music director at the time, Rob Wagman, and he was like, "Hey, we need a DJ. We need you to bring your own equipment. We'll connect you up. Can you do it? We don't have a budget." Like, bruh, I'm there. Don't even worry about it. I got there. It was for Justin Bieber. It's his first show ever in Long Island at Hofstra. He had the short hair, that whole old school look. I have an old picture with him, and rocked it. Had a good time. But the crazy thing is, and this is the thing I love the most about it, and for anybody else out there, I didn't get hired because I rocked a party. I got hired because that day I got made, one of my boys, Dan from Jersey, he had a t-shirt company called Mint. And I was like, "Yo, I need a t-shirt." I was with a crew at the time, DJ Kings, and then it said 92.3. It had all this stuff on it, really dope. I got hired because of that t-shirt. And my music director at the time, he was like, "Someone who wears a t-shirt like that shows that person has passion, and he wants to be a part of something." Passion you can't teach. You could teach someone to be on the radio. This is how you talk, this is what you say, this is what you do. But passion, you can't teach for nothing. And then that Monday, I got an email, and I got hired as a producer.
That's great.
So how long did you work at the radio station?
From there, that was like 2009, so about a good 9 years. First couple years was producer. Basically what I did was bring content to the table for the show. After that, you know, me and Tic Tac at the time, he was like, yo, you're just doing too much. I like teaching people. You got to go. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? I'm rocking right now. He's like, nah, I like helping people. You have to figure out what you're going to do. So they took me into the office with the program director, Dom Theodore at the time. And he was like, this is October. He's like, you have till holiday this year to give me a New York City worthy, like a demo, air check. So I had 2 months with no experience whatsoever to put together an air check that's good enough for me to talk on New York City radio. So I was there at the studio every day saying, how's this? How's that one? Slow up with this, slow up with that. And then I made one that he liked, and then Christmas morning that year was my first time that I broke the mic, and it was off of Flow Rider, Club Can't Handle Me.
How nervous were you?
Bro, like I'm nervous now still. Like people, I always get nervous. I mean, that's just, you know, if I didn't get nervous, that means I didn't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that was, I DJ'd a club before in Long Island. I had my boy Danny DeAngelis from Staten Island 2DB. He was with me. We're booking it back from Long Island. It's snowing outside. I get to the studio. I'm like ready to go. I'm all prepped, ready to rock. That first break was just like everything. My boss hit me up. He's like, all right, I could go to bed. You good? Don't worry about it. And I was good. First break, he was like, all right. He's good.
So being up at the station, I mean, for 9 years, you ran into everyone. Like there's pictures of you online with some of the A-list celebrities. Who left like that impression on you?
Well, I always boast about the Jennifer Lopez interview. That was crazy, because I made her say, I love you, Papi, to me. That's going to stay in the phone and forever.
Wait, I think that you spoke about that before. That was your first interview.
No, the first interview ever.
Katy Perry?
Was Katy Perry.
Yeah.
They did a giveaway for people to go see her Teenage Dream movie, and they wanted me to go to make sure that the winners were all good, like everything was set. So I'm like, all right, no problem. I get there. I'm with my boy Steve. He was an intern, but we became really, really good friends. And I'm standing there, and the guy that's producing it comes up to me and goes, all right, you get a minute and a half, and you're going first. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He goes to talk to Katy Perry. I'm like, yo, you gotta be kidding me. Nobody told me about this. I hit my boss. I'm like, yo, they're gonna make me interview Katy Perry right now. He's like, just be yourself. Just have fun with it. It'll go quick. And don't worry about it. You'll be all right.
It'll be quick and easy.
Yo, I was shook. So shook. I'm on my phone, BlackBerry at the time, trying to put everything together. What am I gonna ask her? What's this all about? I was like, let me just ask regular questions. The movie, blah, blah, blah. So in my head, I see her. I'm ready to go on. I couldn't even see other people because they wanted me to go first. New York City, #1 market, you go first. So I'm like, damn. So what I did was, the first sentence I said to her was, I've never interviewed anybody before, and you're my first interview. And she's like, really? Oh, this is awesome. And gave me a hug. I was like, oh, I'm good now. Everything is great. How's the movie, blah, blah, blah. Finished up. Like, get me out of here. And then left. And that was my first interview. Crazy.
But J-Lo left a everlasting impression on you.
She did leave a big impression. I mean, I got to meet so many people.
Run off a couple names right now for everybody.
Jay-Z, Rihanna, Bieber, Selena Gomez, Kanye West. Those are like some of the only person I never met that was really like on that checklist was Beyonce, but everybody else was there. Lady Gaga, Justin Timberlake.
How was Kanye?
Kanye was actually dope. Like, shouts to Nadine. She was my music director at the time. She called me up on a Sunday. She's like, Monday morning, I need you to come in at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, all right, bet. You're going to interview Kanye West. I'm like, what? Yeah, our morning show at the time, he was just having a kid. He couldn't make it. I'm like, all right. And you have to go to his show tonight because he doesn't want anybody to interview him and doesn't go to his show. So this was the Yeezus tour. I was like, I hit my boy Steve. I'm like, yo, we're going to Kanye. He's like, all right, I'll be ready. Pick him up, we go. We have the passes, everything.
Where was
on
the show?
tour.
The Garden?
That show, I'll never forget it because not only just doing the interview, but it was the first show that Tribe got back together and played. And they bodied it. So I'm like, it's Tribe Called Quest. This is like a dream come true right now. So went to the show. Next day, Kanye was there. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let him do what he does. And that's just kind of how it worked out. I talked to him. I said, thank you. I kind of, before the interview started, the way to break the ice, I told him, I was like, listen, man, just to keep it 100 with you, 808s and Heartbreaks was a huge album for me because I went through a breakup at the time, and that helped me through it. From there on, he was totally cool. Like, I think I'm one of the, like, minimum amount of people to have a picture of Kanye smiling.
I had one run-in with him. Won't talk about it. I'll tell you later, though.
So was he normal with you?
Yeah, he was super, super normal. I let him talk. I talked about the show. Then he went on his own rant that he normally does, and he talked about, it was right before Black Friday, so he spoke about how if he said something about not to wear Louis Vuitton, then people won't wear Louis Vuitton, and that went trending. So it was my first story that ever kind of went trending out there. It was dope.
So 92.3, they changed their format, right?
Yes.
About, what, like a year or two ago? 2 years ago?
2
maybe?
years ago, Friday before Thanksgiving.
And were you there up until that point?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we went through a lot of changes, man. We went through 3 different program directors. That's like your main top boss.
Yep.
2 different music directors. And I was just blessed to ride that wave. Luckily, when they made their changes, they just kept me on.
How did you find out that they were closing, and how long of notice did you have?
0 notice.
And
You
what,
never
what
get
was
notice.
what was that like?
Well, it was a very humbling experience, and it was a big learning experience because everybody always said that, and it's the truth, is that, when you work in radio, you kind of sign up for it. Things happen, people travel, a lot of on-air personalities, they start in one city, then they'll end up in another city. There's so many talents that are from New York, but they're in another state because they're just building their brand to eventually make it back to New York.
Yeah.
I'm one of the few, very few, that got lucky that the way I did to get on air without having no radio experience. And that day, I woke up, Jay Dobby called me. He's like, yo, we're a rock station. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, we're a rock station. I went on my app, and it was Alt 92.3. I was like, oh, well, that's that.
And
So-
just that's how you found out that
Mhm.
you had no job.
Yep. I was driving in. The GM called me up. He goes, well, I kind of think you know by now. And I'm like, yeah, no, I know. I'm hearing it right now. He goes, all right, just come in and we'll talk. I got there. The VP and everybody was like, you've done nothing but great things for us. You need anything from us, we'll help you. And they did. They were very, very nice about everything because I've seen people that lost their job, like, get walked out by security and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Did they give everybody severances?
Me, Astra, and Nico were like the only 3 left. Like, there was the writing on the walls
Yeah.
because we didn't have a PD. We didn't see anybody trying to come in as our new PD, so we knew something was going to happen. But we didn't think that was going to go down, which, later on you look back and like, I should have tried to plan this out. But I'm a person that if I'm a part of something, I'm not thinking of anything else. So I wasn't out there putting my resume here, putting my resume there, because it just messes up your whole process. If you instantly think about something else, there's no way in the world that you're going to give 100% attention to what you're trying to focus on. So I just rode it out all the way to the end and rode the violin while the ship was sinking.
So why do you think they changed the radio station?
It's pretty simple. I mean, basically CBS owned the radio station. They sold all of it to Entercom.
Right.
Entercom came in the building and said, we see a hole. We're going to try to fill it. And that's what they did.
Is it doing well now?
I'm not 100% sure if it's really doing great, but it's there, you know. And anybody that's there, they're lucky that they have a job. You know what I mean?
No, they couldn't transition. I mean, did certain people transition over from 92.3
A couple did.
to the new station? Like they stayed on, just wore the hat for the new station?
Nah, what they did was they pretty much cut everybody, but there was a couple of people that they applied and got back on. Actually, one person did, but he didn't wear a hat. Omar, he does shows there. He used to be an intern. Then he was one of my producers. He's one of the guys I'm super proud of. That, you know, he's there and he sounds great. You know, it is. I mean, like I said, you sign up for it when it comes to radio. Anything can happen at any time, and you just have to be prepared for it. And there's a saying out there that goes like, "You didn't make it in radio until you get fired," and I did.
So there were rumors going around within the DJ community that you were looking to quit DJing. Is that true?
That's true. That is definitely true. That was like a real rough patch I went through. I lost my dream job. I was going through like relationship problems, I had all my own personal issues, and I got really depressed. And I was like, you know what? I got a new gig. I'm gonna focus in on that. I'm getting older. I'm not gonna play myself. And you know, the truth of the matter is like I wasn't getting the bookings like I used to. And I understand it. I didn't have that clout of the radio station with me. You didn't have the logo put next to my name. And if you're not needed and you can't fill that need, then you just kind of move on, which is, I totally understand. But it took a while for me to get that, you know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? I got a couple of dope bookings. I'm gonna just do like this little run and end out. And I had this one little gig on Fridays. I was like, let me do this. It'll itch to scratch, you know, and I'll be fine. But at the end of the day, there's bills to be paid. I was sitting back like, man, what the fuck you thinking? You got 3 kids? You got bills to pay. You got child support to pay. I was like, I couldn't. So I kind of met myself halfway. Through that process was growth. And one of the things that I learned from growth was I wasn't going to be like, DJ Toro making his return, the Black Album, wearing the 4-5. Nah, I just reached out to people and said, hey, I'm not retiring. I have to work. And very, very lucky that I had these relationships where they said, I got you here, I got you there. And little by little, I did those bookings, but I made sure that when I have my kids, I don't do any bookings. So that's kind of how I met myself halfway.
So you're still working,
Mm-hmm.
still taking gigs,
Still take them. I mean,
keeping
but
the schedule.
it's not like the calendar's packed, you know.
Right.
And that's my thing. It's not the clubs. It's not that me not being wanted. It's just didn't have that drive of hitting up the promoters, doing that, try to get these bookings. I was focusing on my kids, focusing in on my job.
Yeah.
And even I did a booking this past weekend, and the guy's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, man. Like, everybody hits me up for the bookings, and I'm sorry that I overlook you. I got to put you back on." I'm like, "Dude, it's all good. Whenever you got a spot, you let me know, and I'm down, and I'll rock it." And that's just kind of how I keep it. It's less stressful.
So when you were on the radio, basically everyone was reaching out to you. And now it's more like you have to start reaching out to all these promoters again.
Well, I made sure that when I was on the radio, because it really wasn't, but was. And the reach was bigger. So I was getting Long Island bookings that I would never get before, or, even as far as Connecticut. But I still stood in contact with everyone I normally worked with and kept doing those parties because that's where I was before, and that's how it would continue. And I was really, really lucky and blessed that those people just stood with me the whole time. So I made sure I would stay with them.
That's great.
You know.
You got anything else, Mike?
No, I think we're ready to get them on the
Really? No
turntables.
like club scene stuff, or I'm like all
you
nervous
know
and
what?
everything.
So
And
I want to know,
maybe-
like being at the radio for 9 years.
Yep.
What is the worst scenario that ever happened?
Two big things come off the top of my head. One is my first full-time shift was overnights from 11 to 3 o'clock in the morning. One night, like around 1 o'clock in the morning, I lose music, dead air. I'm like, shit. You got to go to the backup. There's CDs that are made to play in case that happens. I go to the backup, the CD's skipping. Dude, on live radio, it's going like skipping on the radio.
Wow.
Then that shuts down. I have my producer run into the other studio, go make another backup CD, and luckily get that on air. But even the backup to the backup, that wasn't working.
How long was that no music
Oh,
for?
it was at least a good 20, 25 minutes.
Really, of dead air?
Yeah, that's like levels upon levels of people getting called saying, there's no music, there's no music, there's no music. That was crazy. Only other time second that happened like that was my boy, and my boy Cello, I gotta show him love. He was my producer. He was a board op, and he accidentally fell asleep. And it was at the end of one of my mixes. So on the radio, you see my mix playing, but there's no music at all. And I think that one went for about a good 25 minutes also.
Wow.
Did you get some shit for that?
Well, I didn't. He did. I didn't. But the dude, he worked like crazy that day. And then the other crazy experience was I was doing a live broadcast from a club. Everything I was playing from the turntables was live on the air, and the club lost power. So it was just done.
Was there somebody at the station?
Yeah, someone's there to kind of flip over and go in to play other mixes, but that one like was crazy.
So how do they play, like, when they're just playing the music? How like, not DJs mixes? I know, like, with a DJ mix, you'd put it on a CD, or they used to take it on a DAT sometimes.
Well, there's two different ways. I
But
mean,
how does the station just play music, and
There's
who's
a program,
responsible for
Yep.
playing the music? I mean, I'm sure it's different now.
actually, it's not.
Really?
Still the same. I mean,
They
they use most stations use what's called Music Meister, and then that is a program that schedules out music evenly throughout the day,
okay.
and that's what goes and play. It tells you where you can talk or where a sweeper goes, and that's
So that's something that's on a screen that everybody's watching, like whoever's on air, they're paying attention to that. They see the next song that's coming up.
yep. They're supposed to pay attention to it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what they use. Mixes, we luckily, and this is straight up, we mixed live a lot from there. Like, we wanted to have that live DJ feel. Every one of the DJs that touched down at 92.3 played a live mix. No matter how shook they were, they did a live mix. And it was the most nervous experience, but, you know, after you got used to it, you just roll with the punches. You know,
Yeah.
these guys, they did it, they killed it. You know, it was a lot of fun. And then if we played a mix that wasn't live, they would drop it to me, and I put it into the system, and then it would play on the screen like within that system.
Right.
All right. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and we're going to get Toro up on the set.
Yep.
He's going to rock live from Red Hook here at the Funktion House. Go to thefunctionhouse.com. Watch the stream there. Peace.
All right, we got DJ Toro, live from Red Hook, here at the Funktion House.
He was a Brooklyn kid.
Brooklyn, we did it.
Who dreamed of making it big.
I'm down with chasing the dream. Whatever he want me to do, I'm
In 2009, he'll share that dream
This music you got going on, it don't come around every day.
with a tri-state.
Maybe in the right hands, I could be one of the greatest.
Every club he blesses will experience the difference between a prince and a king. DJ Kings presents your favorite Puerto Rican white boy.
Change the world. Can't change the world unless we change ourselves.
Eric Torres is DJ Toro. Now playing everywhere.
This album is dedicated to all the teachers that told me I never amount to nothing. To all the people that lived above the buildings that I was hustling from that called the police on me when I was just trying to make some money to feed my daughter. And all the niggas in the struggle, you know what I'm saying? It's all good, baby. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine, hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rap attack, Mr. Magic Molly Mall. I let my tape rock till my tape pop, smoking weed and bamboo, sipping on private stock. Way back when I had the red and black lumberjack with the hat to match. Remember rapping Duke? The hard, you never thought that hip-hop would take it this far. Now I'm in the limelight cause I rhyme tight. Time to get paid, blow up like the born sinner. The opposite of a winner. Remember when I used to eat sardines for dinner? Peace to Ron G, Brucey B, Kid Capri, Funk Master Flex, Love Bug, Star Ski. I'm blowing up like you thought I would. Call a crib, same number, same hood. It's all good. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga.
Clips inserted, a baby's being born, same time a man is murdered, the beginning and end. As far as rap go, it's only natural. I explain my plateau and also what defines my name. First it was nasty, but times have changed. Ask me now, I'm the artist, but hardcore my signs for pain. I spent time in the game, kept my mind on fame. Saw fiends shoot up and do lines of cocaine. Saw my close friend shot, flatlining my sane. That depends, carry Mac 10s to practice my aim. On rooftops, tape CD covers the trees. Line a barrel up with your weak picture and squeeze. Street scriptures for lost souls in the crossroads. To the corner thugs hustling for cars that cost dough. To the big dogs living large, taking it light. Pushing big toys, getting nice, enjoying your life is what you make it. Suicide, few tried to take it. Belt tied around their neck in jail cells naked. Heaven and hell, rap legend, presence is felt. And of course, NAS are the letters that spell. Not like life or death. My poetry's deep, I never felt. Not like half man, half amazing. No doubt. Not like life or death. My rebel. My poetry's deep, I never felt. Not like half man, half amazing. No doubt.
Give your ear so I be sublime. It's enjoyable to know you in the concubines. Niggas, take off your coats. Ladies act like gems. Sit down, Indian styles, you recite these hymns. See, lyrically I'm Mario Andretti on the Momo. Ludicrously speedy or infectious with the slow-mo. Heard me in the 80s, JV's on the promo. Him, I never end the quest to get the paper on the caper. But now, let me take it to the Queen side. I'm taking it to Brooklyn side. All the residential questions who invade the air. Hold up a second, son, cause we almost there. You could be a black man and lose all your soul. You could be white and good, but don't prep the road. See, my shit is universal if you got knowledge of Polo or Del myself. See, there's no one else who could drop it on the angle. They're cute at that. So do that, do that, do that, that. Come on. Do that, do that, do that, that. Yeah. Do that, do that, do that, that. I'm bugging out, but let me get back cause they're wetting niggas. So run and tell the others cause we are the brothers. I learned how to build mics in my workshop class. So give me the sword and let's not make it the last. We on the road tour.
mic in my hand. Without that, it's like Kryptonite and Superman. So Shaheed come in with the sugar cuts. Fife Dog's my name, but on stage call me Dynamite. When was the last time you heard the fight for sloppy? Lyrics anonymous, you never hear me copy. Top notch, baby, never coming less. Sky's the limit. You got to believe up in quest. Sit back, relax, get up out the path. If not that, here's the dance floor. Come move that ass. Non-believers, you can check the stats. I run with Shaheed and the brother Abstract. Niggas know the time when questions in the jam. I never let a statue tell me how nice I am. Coming with more hits than the Braves and the Yankees. Living mad fat like a oversized man. B, the wackest crews try to diss it makes me laugh. When my track record's longer than a DC-20 aircraft. So next time that you think you want something here, make something different, take that garbage to St. Elsewhere.
Oh yeah, I get around. Still clown with the underground when we come around. Stronger than ever. Back to get wrecked. All respect to those who break their neck to keep their hopes in check. Cause though they sweat a brother majorly. And I don't know why your girl keeps paging me to tell me that she needs me. Cries when she leaves me. And every time she sees me, she squeeze me. Lady, take it easy. Hate to sound sleazy, but tease me. I don't want it if it's that easy. Hey yo, bust it. Baby got a problem saying bye-bye. Just another hazard of a fly guy. Your ass wide don't matter. My pockets got fatter. Now everybody's looking for the ladder. And ain't no need in being greedy. If you wanna see me, try to keep a number, baby, when you need me. And I'll be there in a jiffy. Don't be picky, just be happy with this quickie. But when you learn, you can't time it down, baby doll. Check it out. I get around. What you mean you don't know? Check it go. I get around. The underground just don't stop for hoes. I get around. Still down with the underground clown. Around they go. I get around. Yeah. Hey yo, shot. Let them all know.
I be on the West Coast, we be getting high with the fellas too. Fuck on the lie, for me lose, big and tie. Every day you know how we do. The crew, we be having mad fun. Niggas know me from day one now. Lifestyles of the bitch and shameless. Niggas violating, they will end up nameless.
Yo, rap, bring me along. I know Smith got my back, freaky toss off the charm giver. 1, 2 for my man, pretty new as I bless the rest of my New York City crew. As we continue to bring you the flavor, representing LB from the cradle to the grave. Now how's that? One time for your mind. Well, but I write down the line, give sight to the blind. I'm coming through with my clip. What you gonna do when shit gets thick? Is you gonna start your running and hiding? Is you gonna start your slipping and sliding? Man, I thought you had this game in the smash. Well, how do it feel with real niggas in your ass? Mr. Cheeks, freaky cop, pretty loose, big nicely. 1 for the money, 2 for the lie, 3 for my peoples in the struggle getting by. 4, you swing nice and freaky die. Music makes me high. 1 for the money, 2 for the lie, 3 for my peoples in the struggle getting by. For my fam, you swing nice, freaky die. Music makes me high.
But love's got a thin line, the pun's got a big 9. Respect crime, but not when it reflect mine. The shit I'm on is wrong, but it lasts long. When the fast one upon to wake up with the stash going, I'm mad strong and my cream is fast. Smoke the green is grass, my bitch got the meanest ass. And it tastes legit, I don't have to waste a whole case of Chris. All it takes is my pretty face and my gangster wit. Lace the click, cause we all share, it's all fair. Like love and war, thug galore with the long hair. Big pun, the name that makes the kids run. Like spell the murder, reverse to the mirror, red rum. Come one, come more, if you wanna brawl. I'm the mighty Thor, close line of motherfuckers like Steven Seagal. Cause all you're gonna get is your ass kicked up in the casket, that's it. That's it? That's it.
Punish your bastard, at last it's rappers that really blast shit. Cats getting big willy niggas like Billy Baffin. Up at Jimmy's Cafe, having caviar, cracking crystal at the bar, smoking cigars, living large. We rob and steal, roll with the mob, doing jobs for bills. I'm hard to kill, for real, nigga, guard your grill. I like the chill, sparking elegant high. I'm one hell of a guy, fly pelican fly.
What up, Duco? You know, politic and Papa Tuco. I'm out here
watching for Jay. Getting the salute though, shoot, bro. I got a waterproof suit, yo, swerving like an AKA in Beirut, yo, squeezing out of automatic M3s. And please, you ain't seen no thugs like these. I can tell you lots of things that'll make you believe. In Corona, yo, it's better to take than to receive.
Your career's on life support, and I'ma pull the plug and have every thug chewing that beating a drug in their blood. No escaping this. Niggas just going over their favorite shit. To be taping this. World premiere, loud and clear, lie and beer. Get the dough, blow up the show, disappear. Jump in the Cavalier, feeling marvelous. Street pharmacist, twist audiblest. For pleasure, bring your territory terror. Keep my workers under pressure, God, I'm saying fuck Lester. But that's alright, Duco. My heart nowadays too cold. Don't give a fuck where you been, what you done, where you go. You know, peep this, stay bent in black shades like a secret agent. While night thieves roll up on you like sleeves. We like trees, bust thieves and stack cheese.
It's off the hook this year. Making mad money off the books this year. Ain't nothing but crooks in here. Getting mad money off the books this year. It's off the hook this year. Getting mad money off the books this year. Ain't nothing but crooks in here. Getting mad money off the books this year.
Bust a bus. 9-7. Hot shit. Check it out. Hit you with no delaying of what you saying. Silly with my 9 milli with the dilly. When I be on the mic, yes, I do my duty, yo. While up in the club like we while in the studio. You don't wanna violate, nigga, really and truly, yo. My main thug, nigga named Julio, he moody, yo. Type of nigga that'll slap you with the tulio. Bitch, nigga scared to death, act fruity, yo. Fuck that, look at shorty, she a little cutie, yo. The way she shake it make me wanna get all in the booty, yo. Top mistress at the banging bitches and videos. While I'm with my freak like we up in the freak shows. Hit you with the shit, make you feel it all in your toes. Hot shit, got all you niggas in wet clothes. Style out my metaphors when I formulate my flows. If you don't know, you fucking with lyrical player pros. Do like you really that. Wanna party with me? Let me see just what you got for me. Put all your hands with my eyes to see. Straight buck wildin' in the place to be. If you really wanna party with me, let me see just what you got for me. Put all your hands with my eyes to see. Straight buck wildin' in the place to be. If you
shine. Let's shut up, mom, get a pink baby girl, let's ride. You the number one star, we gon' glide and go straight to the mall and tear down the inside. That Prada, Gucci, full length leather, Burberry's cooler, Coogee sweater, 20 inches pop my feather. The Birdman, dead, I fly in any weather. Alligator seats with a head in the inside. Swine on the dash, G-Wagon, so fly. Number one, don't tangle and twist it. When it comes to these cars, I am that. The Gucci with the matching interior. Three-wheel ride with the tie in the middle. It's fresh and stunner, and we like brothers. We shine like paint, daddy. It's our summer. Let the boys be boys. Make noise, be boys.
It's another one in the gutter one. Gutter running them, troublesome, extra double dumb. I come to beat them, defeat them, and mistreat them. So what if that I'm cheating? Now everybody wanna sound right me. I'ma show you how. Come on, hold it together now. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. That's how it gotta be. So stop trying to be loud as me, cause you can do that. Think about the pay and rush roulette with an automatic. I press my ass against the line. The last bullet's first online. Never stepping and repping and run. Like a weapon is wild. Please set the brothers on Rikers out. Open up a trembling, blending like a chameleon. But by some guy, oh my god, I'm so high. Cause they say I rhyme, they say I look like a gremlin. But what does it take to make a kid, make a million children? Slam, slam. Give me the microphone before I bust in my pants. The mad author of anguish. My language polluted. Onyx is heavyweight. And still undisputed. It took the words right out my mouth to walk a mile in my shoes. I pay so many dues. I feel used and abused and I'm so confused. Cop, excuse me. For example, I'm the inspiration of a whole generation. And unless you got 10 sticky fingers, it's an imitation. A figment of your imagination. But wait, it gets worse. I'm not watered down, so I'm dying of thirst. Coming through with the scam. Foolproof plan. B-boys make some noise and just yell.
Train goes off the track, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Let's go.
Keep it moving, baby, we be moving. I better keep it moving, you know we keep it moving. And keep it moving, baby, we be moving. And keep it moving, you know we keep it moving. And keep it moving, you know we keep it moving. Baby, we be moving, you know we keep it moving.
When I first stepped on the scene, niggas was petrified. Went back to the lab like they were being chased by homicide. My rap's gon' cause you right to hell, and it will never stay wrong. And all you bitch ass niggas in the industry, your careers won't be lasting long now.
Alright, y'all.
if you got real hair, real fingernails, got a job, you going to school, and you don't need nobody to help you handle your business, make some noise.
It's time for the percolator. 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 It's time for the
Let's go.
reflect yourself on your own. You came unique with mind and body.
And then just touch me till I can get my satisfaction. 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 Satisfaction.
Push me, and then just hurt me, till I can get my satisfaction. 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 Satisfaction.
Push me, and then just touch me, till I can get my satisfaction.
Push me, and then just hurt me, till I can get my satisfaction.
Push me, and then just touch me, till I can get my satisfaction.
Push me, and then just hurt me, till I can get my satisfaction. 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 Satisfaction.
y'all? This is your boy Fat Joe, and you in the mix with DJ Toro.